much. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I'd love to hear our national anthem. How about you? Please welcome Vivian Castillo.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, that complace porter il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Vivian. All right, I think we live in a wonderful country, a wonderful province, and a wonderful city. Don't you think, boys and girls? Yes. And welcome to Ellen Campbell Day here in the nation's capital. For those who you don't know and you've just wandered on to Parliament Hill, Helene is a wonderful girl from Ottawa who's now living in Toronto waiting for a double lung transplant. She is on the waiting list. She's being patient. She's being over and above kind to help out others who need organ donation. And so she started a campaign a few months ago. She got Justin Bieber to retweet the heck out of her. I don't know anybody else who can do that. I've tried. It doesn't work. Then she gets on the Ellen DeGeneres show. How about that? And while doing all of this, she is, of course, trying to stay positive. And I went to visit her last weekend, and she is just an angel. I love her to pieces. And if you ever have a chance to follow her on Twitter, send her a message. She'll respond, and she's just great. She'll put you in the best mood ever. Yeah, give her a round of applause one more time, because I believe she's watching right now via Skype. We have a few speeches we'd like to get to here today. And he is actually holding the torch right now. He'd like to say a few words. His wife passed away, I believe it was 2 years ago. Oh, sorry, 11 months ago. My apologies, 11 months ago. She helped save 5 individuals. How about that? His wife's name was Betty. Please welcome Mr. Albright.
It's a real privilege and honor for me to be here today. I want to especially welcome my colleagues from the House of Commons. Thank you so much for all of you for taking the time to come out today. When George called me a number of months back and asked if the Torch of Life could be run in Betty's honor through Ontario this year, obviously I had no hesitation in giving that permission to do it in Betty's honor. She deserved every honor I can possibly give her. 11 months ago, roughly, we were in the hospital considering our options, and it became very clear, and medical personnel informed us that there was literally no hope for Betty's survival. Then the decision comes what to do about organ donation. Because Betty and I had had that conversation, because Betty had signed her organ donation card, the decision was made easier. It wasn't easy. There were still many other decisions that had to be made in that process. But my children and I unanimously agreed that Betty's organs would be donated. Through that time, the Trillium Gift of Life Network worked with us in a very compassionate way to help us make that decision. And I can't say enough positive about the Trillium Gift of Life Network. Thank you to each person who was involved in that. Yeah, give them a good round of applause. Betty passed away on May the 4th, and while our hearts are still broken and we grieve deeply, there are 2 things that give us hope to go on. One is our definite hope in the person of Jesus Christ, his resurrection, which we're going to celebrate next week. The second is the ability that we had to donate Betty's organs, and we know today that 5 people are enjoying life. Some of them probably would not be living anymore had those organs not been donated. So those 2 things remove much of the pain of having lost a loved one. So I just can't say enough about how important it is that you take time to go on to beadonor.ca. You see the placards around here, beadonor.ca. Register your intent and have the discussion with your family so that if, and we all hope we'll live to be 95, but some of us won't, if you're faced with a situation like Betty and I were, that there will be very little question, and you can have the hope of knowing that you have also been instrumental in extending life, a fuller and richer life, to others who may need those organs. And we know many, including Helene, and including Gary Keller right here on Parliament Hill, who needs help right now. So please do it. Register today. And my thanks again. Thanks again to George and the Torch of Life team. These guys are incredible. They put a lot of work into it. And my hopes and prayers with the Campbell family that a donor will be found very shortly. You are certainly in our prayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, you know this is a big campaign and a big deal when you can get all three parties to come down here together and not be fighting with each other. That's a good day, right? So our first speaker from the four parties. I apologize. I voted for you. All right. I'd like to bring to. They all say that, yeah. I'd like to bring to the microphone from the Conservative Party, Mr. Mark Adler. He's not here? Oh, he's not here. Okay. Okay. Is there anybody from the Conservative Party? Well, anybody else? Yes, but. Well, I'd like to give you my political views. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay then? Okay. The Conservatives are represented? Okay, that's good then. I just wanted to give everybody equal time. So now from the Liberal Party, Member of Parliament, Kirsty Duncan. Is she here? There she goes. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Hello everyone. Today we remember our friend Harold and his loving wife Betty of 40 years. And we remember the Campbell family, and we're all hoping and praying for your daughter. We want to thank George Marcello and his wonderful team and these extraordinary children. For their tireless efforts to raise the torch of life, to give the gift of life. And we are thankful that organ transplantation has gone from an experimental treatment to the hope for thousands of Canadians. And I know what it's like to face this, to face a devastating disease where there isn't cure, where there isn't a help. And what you're all doing here today is raising awareness so no family has to face this alone. And for all those who are facing this, we wish you love, strength, and our prayers. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker from the NDP, Peter Stouffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Thomas Mulcair and our party, in fact of all of us in the House of Commons and in the Senate, thank you all very much for being here. You always ask yourself, what can one person do? Well, Betty, even though I'm sure she wouldn't want to be with us now, and Harold and the family decided that 5 other people should have the right to live under the grace of our land and our God in that regard. So if one person could do that, imagine what you can do. And we're encouraging each and every single one of you to sign the card. Because the reality is there's an awful lot of us here right now that one day may require an organ transplant themselves. And wouldn't it be nice to know that you wouldn't have to wait and wonder if indeed it was going to happen? And so Harold and to George and to each and every one of you, I also want to say a special ode to the town crier. Coming from Nova Scotia, that's a big thing down there, buddy. Thank you very much for being here, sir. But to each and every one of you, thank you for being here, especially to the young children. It always says, what can the youth do? By being here in the numbers you are, you're showing us, the adults of this country, what we should be doing when it comes to organ donations. So please, as Harold says, do it. Sign up, be a donor. The life you save may be a relative, may be a friend, and one day maybe it'll be yourself in those shoes. So God bless you to the memory of Betty and to the folks here as well. Hopefully that answer you'll get the phone call very, very soon and be able to live a very happy and productive life. And God bless each and every one of you. Thank you all very much for coming out today. Thank you.
All right. I would like to introduce a lady who is actually part of the community where the Campbells live. She's our MPP. She's a wonderful lady. Please welcome Lisa McLeod to the microphone. Lisa.
Thanks very much. May I first just say thank you to Jeff Mahler and Hot 89.9 for the outstanding work that they've done in promoting organ donation and the plight of Helene Campbell. Jeff, whenever you take on a cause, you make sure our whole city is aware of it. And for that, we are all very grateful. Thank you. If I may, just say thank you to all of you for being here today. And I'd like to make a special mention of the Ottawa Centre MP who's here, Paul Dewar. It's been a heck of a week for you. It's very nice that you were able to make it here, sir, right in the heart of your riding. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been with the Living Green Ribbon for about 6 years now. And I can tell you, some years it's tougher than others to try and get the message out. But through our friend Helene and her parents, who've been very gracious because I know they've been inundated with international press, we have done something amazing here by supporting her in this city. And we know that people across not only our province, but throughout the world are now talking about the importance of organ donation. Now, a few months ago, I guess it would be now, Helene came to visit me at Queen's Park when it wasn't sitting. And I brought her into the chamber. And I let her sit in, was it Tim Hudak's seat or Dalton McGinty's? She sat in both seats. And so did her father. And it just shows you, I think, that we have an open, accessible parliaments and legislatures, and we talk about this issue an awful lot. Unfortunately, on the same night that he was re-elected, my friend Harold had to go through a very significant tragedy. And a few days after he was re-elected, which should have been one of the happiest nights of his life, he was going through a tragedy. And he and his family have spoken about the importance of organ donation. And he's here, and I might say with incredible strength, to carry on that message and Betty's legacy. And I want to thank you for that leadership and strength. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue this on. We have our town crier has been with us for very many years. I know Councillor Doug Thompson, who's representing our mayor Jim Watson, is here today. We do this every year. We're going to have to continue to do this every year. You can't let up on awareness. The minute you stop talking about it is the minute people forget about it. And thankfully, we've got Helene Campbell, and through the grace of God, her message to tell people that this is very important. So ladies and gentlemen, if you can join me doing one thing here today. Who's on Facebook? Who's on Twitter? What I want you to do is I want you to tweet and I want you to Facebook beadonor.ca. Can everybody do that for me? Can everybody do that for Helene? Can everybody do that for Betty? All right, we're going to be, I think, a big, strong army in this issue, and I think that we are going to make sure that there is a Living Green ribbon, and I want to say thank you so much to the organizers and George for putting this together, and another big thank you to Jeff Mahler, because this wouldn't happen without you.
Thank you, Lisa. That, by the way, was her first time on a microphone. Could you tell? She's so comfortable. All right. I believe we have a letter that we'd like to read. All right, come on up.
Mike Lake, my colleague from Alberta, will read a letter on behalf of the Prime Minister.
Well, thank you very much, and it is an absolute honor to be here standing with the Campbell family with my good friend Harold Albrecht, and to read this letter from the Prime Minister. I am delighted to extend my warmest personal greetings to all those attending the Torch of Life Relay on Parliament Hill, organized by the Step by Step Organ Transplant Association. I was pleased to learn that your Ottawa relay stop is dedicated to the memory of Mrs. Betty Albrecht. wife of Kitchener-Conestoga MP Harold Albright. Betty would undoubtedly have been moved by the compassionate young people working to call attention to the importance of organ donation. Today, you are supporting the thousands of Canadians waiting for an organ or tissue donation. They wait in hope for the gift of restored health. Torch of Life is a laudable initiative founded by George Marcello, a transplant survivor, who has made it his life's mission to raise awareness of organ and tissue donation and to offer others the same chance he received to enjoy a healthy future with friends and loved ones. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I commend the Step by Step Organ Transplant Association and all the organizers of this inspiring campaign. I salute the students participating in this year's relay and offer my best wishes for success in your goal of registering Ontarians as organ and tissue donors. Sincerely, the Right Honourable Stephen Harper, Prime Minister of Canada.
All right, we have one more speech, George, before I give you the microphone, okay? Elizabeth May from the Green Party, come on up and say a few words.
I was busy tweeting. I got caught off guard. Hey, I just want to say how great it is to see the energy and enthusiasm. I've also, one of the things I'd say has been a privilege and an honor since being elected is become a friend of Harold's, and I'm honored to join in the Torch of Life relay in memory of his wonderful wife, Betty. And I want to say, this is not federal jurisdiction, and this is probably a really crazy bad thing for someone at the federal level to do. But looking at the provincial leadership here, I think we ought to talk about maybe reverse onus. You only sign your driver's license if you don't want to donate your organs, which would clear up things a lot. Right now, Canada rates as one of the least engaged countries in terms of the levels of organ donation availability. We really have a problem that there's great spirit here, and goodness knows everybody here is doing what you can. But maybe there's more we could do by turning that around and saying you only sign your card if you want to say to the health authorities, no. Otherwise, you're making a statement that you're ready, that you know that you want to help. And that extra step might just make more organs available. My daughter's best friend, when she was in grade 10, got an organ donation of a heart. And it gave her a new life. We need to make sure that people who need their lives helped and saved with the miracles of modern science are not held back because we just don't know how to get the right organ to the right person in time. So thank you all for being here. God bless you. Keep up the torch of life. Way to go, Jeff.
All right, after talking to all four parties, by the way, it's a no homework Friday, just so you guys know. Very generous of them, absolutely. It's going to be signed in the House later on. All right, so I'm going to hand things over to the Torch of Life main man himself, George. Let's give George the biggest round of applause for organizing all of this today.
Let's give the mother a big hand. Right from the beginning, putting up with me. So I'm glad to see Mr. Doer's here. Thank you so much, my good friend Mr. Doer, and my good friend Kirsty Duncan, who also joined, and Elizabeth Mays. Thank you for making this an all-party initiative. Now that we've shown that Canada can do this, we might maybe make an example for the world. But we actually have a student here that's from Palestine that is that example for the world. And his name is Khaled Khatib, and he's going to share his story very briefly in Arabic, and then I'll translate it in English.
من فلسطين من جنين. صارت معنا قصة إنه في بنت صغير إنه أخوي اسمه أحمد عمره 11 سنة فأصيب براسه وكان يعني تقريبا دماغه ميت فالدكتور عرض على أخوي إنه يتبرع يعني في أطفال بحاجة لأعضاء وبده يعني بدهم الأطفال بدهم أعضاء فأبوي قرر يعني إنه يساعدهم يعني ما بترددش إنه يساعد هاي الأطفال لأنه بحاجة لهاي الأعضاء يعني رايحين يموتوا يعني. فجينا هون على كندا ساعدناهم وأنقذنا 5 أشخاص 5 أطفال هسه هم بصحة جيدة. فأنا هنا في كندا برعاية ستيب باي ستيب من جورج. عشان هيك راح أفر في أونتاريو كلياتها وأحاول إني أجمع قدر يعني 1,000,000 أونتاري في كندا وعشان هيلين كمان إلين كامبل أنا هون في كندا وراح اجيب لها يعني اللي بدها اياها، واتمنى يعني انتم كمان تساعدونا وتروحوا على تورش اوف لايف وتسجلوا وتكونوا معنا. وشكرا لكم. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just translate what Mr. Young Halet Khatib said. In 2005, in his home of Jenin, Palestine, his young brother, 11-year-old brother Ahmed, was shot accidentally by an Israeli soldier. After a day being in a brain-dead state, the family made a decision to donate Ahmed's organs to 7 Israeli children. 5 of them are alive today. Since then, the family has gone worldwide as becoming ambassadors for organ and tissue donations in many, many countries of the world. And we're really privileged and honored to have Halet with us to carry the torch, which he started March 2nd in Kenora, and God willingly, we will finish in June 19th. And he's carrying it for Elaine Campbell, and he met with her before we started. He gave her a nice teddy bear, which I know she still has, and told her, I'm going to carry this torch for you. And also he was very honored to carry the torch in memory of Miss Betty Albright. And so with that, Halet is determined to finish the campaign, but we also found out that he has a love of hockey. He never seen ice in his life, and while we were in Dryden, Frank, our driver and also a bodybuilder and hockey player, has been training Halet. And now every time we pass in a community, the first thing Halet asks is there an ice rink in that community? So is there an ice rink in Ottawa? Well, there's an ice rink here.
Of course, I love Ottawa.
So, you know, let's show the world what Canada can do. Our goal is to register 1 million people in Ontario. Hopefully, we can do and begin our Cross Canada campaign. And let's make Canada #1 when it comes to organ and tissue donation. And show the world and show example. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
All right, guys, I also want to thank Private Zach Dwyer from Cameron Highlanders. Great job with the bagpipe. So obviously I want to thank all the officials that are here today, all the media that is here today, and all of you here today. It was a very special day. We had Helene Campbell on this morning on the new Hot 89.9. It has been a very emotional week for her, a very emotional day for her, and seeing her family here today as well. It's just a great culmination of everything that has happened thus far, but we once again will not stop. We're going to do what Lisa said. Everybody's going to go to their Facebook, they're going to go to their Twitter, send a smoke signal to your grandparents. I don't care what you have to do, but be a donor.ca. Do it as soon as you leave the hill today, guys. Have a great weekend and enjoy the Juno Awards. Thanks, guys. And be careful when you're walking down. Watch your step, boys and girls. Watch your step. Thank you.
I'm going to get the other side. Other side? Thank you very much. That's awesome.
George he's exhausted.
Oh, poor George.
I know.
Is he drinking water now?
He is. He's in the hospital.
Oh.
I feel like it. So he's a trooper though. He'll come out.
Lines in the back. Lines in the back.
I'm sweaty. We don't want to. I'm shaking. You ready for me to do it? You want to hold it with me? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's hold it together here. This is Nancy. She is part of the many people I meet in treadmill rooms. waiting on a long time. I'll let her introduce herself. I'm Ellen has been such a big inspiration for organ donation, and this is an honor and humbling to receive. Thank you so much. And I have all the support of family and friends, and all my new family at the hotel. Now, can we get everybody here doing the minutes? Yeah. Just one question at the end. Up on the step. How long have you been waiting for them? Let me start to live here. Come over here, we're going to get this started. We need to get in there. And meet your car and umbrella. Where's Beth? What do you need? Beth. I'm just. You ready for me to get this? You want to hold it with me? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's hold it together and get a picture. Just stand here. This is Nancy. She is part of the many people I meet in treadmill room, waiting on a lung transplant. I'll let her introduce herself. I'm Nancy McLeod, and Ellen has been such a big inspiration for organ donation. This is an honor and humbling to receive this award. Thank you so much. And I have all the support of family and friends, and all my new family at the hotel.
You need me for anything? What's going on? If you want to shoot it, here you go. I think the lady was good.
Okay, if we could just have your attention.
Hey, Steve, can you just take a step back for me if you don't mind? Just because we're trying to get a line of sight on for a little bit. Yes, thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we go inside for the press conference, I just want to introduce a couple of people who are going to say a few words, and then we're going to have more words said by Ilan and by Khalid and others. First of all, I want to say that this is a very important day, yet it's a sort of a sad day. The organizer of the Torch for Life event, George Marcello, took sick at City Hall. He's a liver transplant survivor, and we all should take minutes to keep George in our prayers, because, you know, he put his life and soul into the Torch for Life. So George can't be here, but he's certainly here with us in spirit. So I'm going to ask, first of all, Minister Matthews, the Minister of Health, to say a few words, and then I'm going to ask Ellen Campbell will to say a few words here and inside, and also we have representatives from the other two parties that are here. Lisa McLeod is here for the Conservative Party. Okay, so maybe Ellie Riggs, just before you speak, I'm going to have Mr. Matthews say hello.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, and I'm well aware of the heat, and I'm sure everyone is ready to get inside as quickly as we can. But I have to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making this a priority in your life. You know, I have been so inspired by the stories that I have heard. Caleb is going to share his story, and is Yael here today? Yes, where is she? Right here. And of extraordinary Aileen Campbell's living proof of how important organ donation is. You know, we have come so far in Ontario. We now have online organ registration site, beadonor.ca. Since we launched it, almost 60,000 people have registered their consent. We've come a long way, but boy, do we have opportunity to do more. So thank you for being here. Thank you for making this a priority. Thank you for raising this issue. I want everyone in Ontario to at least give serious thought to registering to become an organ donor. It is a gift that can save up to 8 lives. We've now got record numbers. Every year we break a new record when it comes to the number of transplantations. And the good news also is the number of people on our list is decreasing. So we are seeing the impact of the renewed emphasis on organ donation and transplantation. So thank you for all you do. It is a true honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. I'm going to have Lisa McLeod say a few words. Lisa, please.
Thank you very much. I would first like to say thank you to Mike Cole for taking the leadership as a fellow member of the legislature today to do this. Thank you very much, Mr. Cole. I'd also like to say thank you very much to the Health Minister for being here, Deb Matthews, and my friend Marcello from the Democrats, who's also here, demonstrating, of course, ladies and gentlemen, that although sometimes we may bicker inside, we all believe in this, and when it becomes very amplified and very clear to our constituents that we need to act, we're all ready to do that. And that's why I would like to make a special mention of my friend and my constituent, Aileen Campbell, who has done an enormous job to ensure that organ donation is not only on the minds of everyone in Ontario, but throughout the world. I would ask that you all do something for me today. Who here has a BlackBerry or a smartphone of some kind? I want you to take it out right now. I want you to do what Aileen did, and in being able to make sure that we have more people signed up for organ donation awareness. She used her BlackBerry, and she used Twitter and Facebook to make sure that her message got out. And it was picked up by Mahler of Mahler and Rush at Hot 89.9 in our city. It was picked up by Ellen DeGeneres, and of course by Justin Bieber. We can all make a difference with our personal devices right now. So if you can join me in using the hashtag #BeADonor to spread awareness and to save more lives. I may just also say this to you. When I started the relay in Ottawa, and I was there with federal members of Parliament and Aileen's family, we were there with Harold Albright, a federal member of Parliament. One of the most beautiful things I think I've ever seen in politics was Harold walking as a Conservative MP with members from all of the other political parties with their arms around him, supporting his decision when his wife fell ill and eventually died after election night last May to use the organ donation system to ensure that his wife Betty's life would still live on. We all have the ability to give the greatest gift of all, and that is life. And ladies and gentlemen, through what we're doing here in Ontario, what you're doing at the grassroots level does that. And I could be no more proud of my constituent, Aileen Campbell, for taking up that fight, as frail as she was, to be here today on the steps of Queen's Park, very strong. I want to say thanks once again to the organizers, and particularly to George. I wish you were here, my friends, but I know that you're here with us in mind and spirit, and you'll be better. So thanks all, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Fran Zelina, Fran from the Democratic Party. Fran is a great supporter of this whole awareness of organ donation. Fran?
Thank you very much, and I'd like to start by thanking each and every one of you for coming here. Sometimes, you know, like people